Today we're gonna learn how to break down a chicken. So first things first, I'm gonna make sure I have a full chicken here. I'm going to remove the legs first. So you see here, you're gonna have the breasts facing up, the chicken wings are at the back, and the chicken legs are facing towards you. The first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna need a knife, and you're just gonna pierce the skin. You can take the knife and pierce like this. We're just gonna pierce the skin just at the joint here between the chicken breast and the chicken leg. Just put your knife facing up and then just pierce the skin. Once you pierce the skin, it's very easy to continue to open that up, and you'll be able to see all of the thigh, okay, the chicken thighs and everything underneath. Once you've done this, you don't want to cut any of the meat. You're just going to then take it, grab the chicken thighs, and what you're going to do is you're going to take them and you're going to pull and push back, and you're going to pop out the bone out of the socket here. Once you've done that, you can see here where you cut the chicken's skin. It's released it, and you're just going to go ahead and you're just going to cut along that line here to remove the whole chicken thigh. Just cut right through where the joint was. And there you have your chicken thigh is removed. So we're going to remove both sides here. And you might have a lot of liquid inside. Mine was frozen earlier, so I had to unthaw it. And as a result, you'll see lots of liquid around here. Just okay. Just grab a towel and then make sure you wipe it up. You don't want it leaking everywhere and making a mess. So keep your space nice and tidy. And then I'm going to continue with the other side. So just pulling the skin back. Okay, taking this and then pulling back. And you can see here, if I look really carefully, I'm just going to pop that joint out. And then I'm just going to cut right where that joint was to remove the thigh. Make sure you cut the skin. And there we have it, our second thigh removed. So I'm just going to place all of these pieces on our little plate here next to us. And so you can see them being cut and broken down piece by piece. I'm now going to move on to removing the wing. So I'm going to flip this the other way around. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the actual wing, I'm going to hold it, and I'm going to let it just hang in air so that gravity is going to help me. I'm going to take my knife. I don't want to, this is my whole chicken breast up here. I don't want to really damage that meat. So I'm just going to cut into where I think the joint is, which should be the socket right down underneath where the armpit is here. So I'm just cutting underneath of it to release it. And you can see there where the actual socket is for the chicken wing. So I'm just going to be cutting down towards it where you can see the socket is, and then it easily pops off with gravity. So there's the first wing removed, and then this is your chicken breast. I'm going to do the same on the other side. So just lift it up. I want to cut into the armpit section here, and then you can see where the socket is because it will just pop out. Cut around it. Try to make sure that this whole chicken breast doesn't get damaged. So I'm just cutting down towards where the socket is, and then we have our second chicken wing removed. So now all we have left is our chicken breast to remove here. So the first thing you're gonna do is you want to remove the skin through the center. You can keep the skin on it or you can remove it entirely. Just gonna cut down the center so I can see where the chicken breast bone is. So the breastbone is what runs through the center here. You can see there's a line. I want you to grab the knife by holding your thumb like this and your fingers around it like this. And what we're going to do is we're going to slice along that line, okay? We're just going to be cutting down alongside of the breastbone as we pull the meat away. So you can do long, thin cuts like so. And you want to make sure that you pull the meat away as we're going. And then just very light, small cuts to remove the meat. Now there is also a wishbone at the front to be aware of. You need to cut down along that wishbone. Very carefully. And you just keep pulling the meat back as you just take small cuts to remove chicken breast from the carcass. Now the skin is wanting to keep it stuck on here. Remove that. Now I've removed the chicken breast so I can put the skin on or off. I'm just going to remove this skin off the chicken breast. And there you have a nice looking chicken breast. Now, underneath of the chicken breast, you will find the chicken tenderloin. So if I flip it over, there's a piece here that just attaches itself, and it's not stuck to it. It's just sitting along inside there. But there is one attachment piece here you've got to remove. And there we have our chicken breast and our chicken tenderloin. So let's do the same thing on the other side. Again, it might be easier for you to remove the skin right off the bat, so you can just pull it, cut it off, whatever's easiest for you. Okay, so just grab a hold of the carcass that you're using. Again, grab the knife with your thumb like this. You're going to cut along the bone here. You can see the breastbone here in the center. So you're just going to start by cutting in and down next to it. Just small, slow cuts. Be careful of your fingers. And then you're going to want to pull the breast meat away, like we did earlier. And there's that wishbone that runs on both sides here, so I'm just cutting alongside the wishbone so that the chicken breast is not attached to it any longer. And then I'm just pulling the meat back as I cut this into different pieces here. And once you get it off, I'm gonna go ahead and cut it. And there we have our chicken breast. And then flip it over, and inside is attached to that tenderloin. Just gonna go ahead and remove that. There's our chicken tenderloin and our second chicken breast. I'm gonna take this chicken carcass and I'm gonna cook it up to make a stock. And to do so, I've got a pot of water and I'm gonna add in a few peppercorns and then some salt as well. I'm gonna take my carcass and I'm gonna put it into the water, everything inside. Oh, there's one more thing I could show you actually. At the back of the chicken is where we have what we call the oysters. That's where the thigh meat touches here, which should be in this area in the back here. So if you've ever been to yakitori, you may have ordered oysters. It's a really nice piece of soft tender meat, which is right here, and it just sits at the back. I've cut most of it out when I cut the thigh out. If you're really careful though, you can remove this piece separately, which is called the oyster. I'm gonna leave it on here. Some extra meat on the bone is good for flavor and stuff to make a stock, and then you can pick that meat off later as well to eat or put it with something else. So I'm just gonna go ahead, I'm gonna place that into the pot of water. In addition to that, I'm just gonna take a carrot and I'm gonna roughly chop up my carrot, and I'm gonna place the carrot inside the water as well, along with some onion. So you can take, I've only got a quarter of an onion left here. I'm just gonna use this up. If you have a full onion, go ahead, throw a whole onion in there. That'll work as well. Again, just roughly chop it as well, and then toss that in. That's gonna boil. You're gonna wanna cook it for about half an hour or so until you have a really nice chicken stock. And then you're gonna be using that later to make your sauce. So please don't throw this away. You need to make sure you make some stock for your veloute sauce in the next lesson. So with portioning this out, we've got all the different parts of our chicken here. We have our chicken leg, our thighs, and then we have our breast. Our breast meat has already been portioned out, so that's all good. We got our tenderloins and our chicken breast there, so I'm just gonna leave them on there. But then we have our chicken wings. We need to separate them as well. So I'm gonna show you how to finish preparing these. So for the chicken wing, let's do that one first. The first thing you're gonna do is just cut the meat, or the skin, sorry, that is holding the wings together. You're gonna go and you're gonna feel where that joint bone, it moves. And at that point, what you're gonna do is you're just gonna put your knife over top where that point is, like so. Take your hand and you're just gonna hit it and to knock and release the bone from the chicken wing, so you have the two different parts. You're gonna do the same thing with the tip, okay? And there you have chicken wing 1, chicken wing 2, and then this part we're not gonna use. I'm gonna show you that again to give you the technical names of the chicken wing. We have the drumlet, which is the top part, okay? Then we have the winglet, and then we have the wing tip. So to remove it again, I'm gonna find that point where I can feel the joint where it moves. Put your knife over top of it, okay? Take your hand and just hit it down. Should cut off quite easily, especially if you nail it right in the center. If you're having a really hard time, you might be hitting bone, and you might need to readjust where you're cutting. So there's my drumlet. The next is the winglet. So again, find that place, just cut it off. This is the winglet, and then the tip, wing tip. So we're not going to use these are just going to be thrown away. You could also put them into your stock if you wish. So we'll do that. Next, I'm going to remove the chicken thigh from the leg. To do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn over the leg here, and I want to expose the fat lines in the meat. So you can see there's a line here where the fat line is. You're going to take your knife, and I want you to literally just cut on that line. As you cut on that line, you're going to open up and you're going to see directly under that line where the bone meets for the two different parts, and you're just going to keep going and just going to cut directly in between the bone where that is, and that's gonna how you're gonna remove the leg from the chicken thigh. So there we have our chicken leg, and then this is our chicken thigh. Again, repeat that, turn it over. You're just looking for that fat line. If you look really carefully, you can see it here. Just gonna go ahead and cut on that line. As soon as you cut on it, you're gonna expose, you can see the bone right there. You're just gonna make sure you go in between that bone And then you're just cutting down until you remove the leg from the thigh. So chicken leg and chicken thigh. Now, I'm gonna teach you how to debone the thigh meat as well, okay? To do that, we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna follow, there's again on this meat, you'll see there is another fat line here, running here. So we're just gonna take and run our knife along that fat line. And as you do so, you're gonna expose the bone below it. And what you're gonna do is just using the tip of your knife, you're gonna just be scraping along the bone on either side to release it from the meat. Keep going. There's a bit of cartilage here. You might have to cut that out. You'll feel it because it's really hard. And just get your knife down and around the bone. And then once you got the bone released, you can just pull it and remove it. Now, once I've removed it, okay, I still have some of the cartilage where the bone socket was in. I don't want to leave that on there, so I'm just gonna take that and I'm gonna push it so that it's easy for me to cut off. And I'm just gonna feel, make sure there's no hard pieces left. I have one piece still at the bottom here. Cut that off. That can go into the stock. And then there we have our thigh. So the bone used to lay right inside of here, as you can imagine. And this was wrapped around it. I'm gonna take this bone, I'm gonna put all the bones into the stock so it adds more flavor. And then there we have our chicken thigh. You can leave the skin on or you can peel it off. It's up to you. So if you peel it off, you're just gonna use your hand and then pull it off. And there you have a nice chicken thigh. I'm gonna put that on our tray over here as well. So let's show you that one more time. Follow the fat line with just the tip of your knife. Once you've done that, you'll expose the bone below. Just cut on either side of the bone. Like so. Then you're just gonna go ahead, take the bone and pull it off the meat. If you can't get it to pull off, you can cut it off. Lay it back down, and then you can see wherever there was a piece of cartilage. I'm just gonna go ahead and remove that. And there we have our chicken thigh done. And then you can just wrap it up really nicely. And there we have 2 chicken thighs. Now the last thing I'm going to show you is for your drumstick or your leg. I'm going to show you how to cut off the top. So you're going to use your knife to cut around the bone at the top of the chicken leg. And you're gonna cut all the tendons, everything that was attaching it. And then what you can do to make this nicer is you can take it and you can press the meat down along the bone, and there we have a drumstick. And then you can take and remove any excess skin at the top and bone that you have here. So that when you cook it up, it looks really nice if you were to serve this on a plate if you wanted to leave the bone inside of the leg. Okay? So again, I'll show you how to do that. I'm just gonna take the knife, I'm cutting all the tendons and stuff that would attach attach it to the top here. Once I've done that, I'm just gonna push the meat down the leg. And then I'm gonna remove by just pushing the skin up and around. Pulling that off. And there we have our second drumstick ready. And then leaving the skin on is really nice because you can cook it up and make it really crispy. And there we have our legs ready to prepare. So I'm just gonna take this excess skin, clean it up. And there we have all the different parts. Chicken breast, chicken tenders, our legs, our thighs, and our chicken wings. In our next class, what we'll look at is how to cook these up and how to make a sauce to place on top. So the stock is finished cooking now. I've got it all sitting here. I've just packaged all of my chicken into a container until I'm ready and I've decided what we're gonna make with it. In the meantime, what I wanna do is I wanna take and remove all of the carcass and leave it all inside together for now until it cools down. And then you're gonna pour all of your stock into your container to use for a later date.